Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at how we can set up a flame map feature found in our Link G5 and G4X programming. Now, what we're going to find is that Link hasn't natively set up a flame map tuning feature. If you're familiar with doing any kind of Mtron or Motec M1 tuning, those will have a flame map function built within the firmware package for Motec or within the software package for the Mtron. We can create the same type of effect to create flaming when we're coming off the throttle at very high RPM. You can see this in exotic supercars. They'll kick flames out of the exhaust pipes. So there's a certain type of environment that we need to create to promote that flaming effect. It's actually quite easy to accomplish that. We need to go in and use our rally anti-lag feature to use and set up this feature for a flame map. So we're repurposing a rally anti-lag, which is something you're probably not going to use realistically on most kind of road cars, even on race cars. It's not something that we commonly use. So we can take that feature, tweak it a little bit for our needs, and then have it available as a flame map or a flame feature. And we want to turn it on and off with a toggle switch. So we're going to go through setting this all up and just a quick demonstration of how this works and the logic and the strategy behind how we're setting this up. So it's pretty simple. Let's jump here from our fuel page and let's go up here under the layout and let's go all the way down here to our rally anti-lag, all the way at the bottom here. And we can find we're in our rally anti-lag programming page. So we have all the things to take a look at the rally anti-lag programming here in this window. We're going to go to our anti-lag mode, and we're going to go from off and turn this to on. Now, when we do this, it's going to ask me, do you want to go ahead and set default values and zero out all these tables that we have to work with here? We'll say yes for all these options. Okay, yes, yes, yes. And we see that the tables are populating in here. One thing I want to point out is we want to make sure that the table that's appearing in this window, so anti-lag fuel cut table, for example, is showing anti-lag fuel cut. Sometimes the software will populate the incorrect table in one of our windows, which can get confusing if we're trying to edit and tune. So just be aware of that. Looks like everything opened up here properly in this particular tutorial. So I think we're good there. Now, the couple things we need to talk about here, the general strategy of creating a flaming type of effect. What do we need to do? Well, the first thing is, in order to create a flame type of effect, we need to have really, really late combustion. That's going to promote really high EGTs. The exhaust temperature is going to go way up. We want to make sure that the fuel injectors aren't getting shut off in an overrun cut. And we're going to be allowing the fuel to essentially get into the exhaust and ignite into the exhaust, which creates the flaming effect. Now we can promote the flame and actually get bigger flames by introducing a spark cut while we're in the flame map in the overrun condition. So typically we're not going to try to generate flames when we're driving that can create major drivability problems. We'll create them when we're in lift throttle overrun situations. So when we're in overrun, if we start to have a little bit of spark cut, not 100% spark cut, maybe only something like 20 to 30% spark cut is fine, we'll be cutting just enough spark that will have a lot more excess fuel getting pumped into the exhaust. Combine that with extremely low ignition timing, and then the potential to add even more fuel on top of that, we have an environment that will create a flaming effect with our vehicle. Now, if you have a catalytic converter in the exhaust system, be mindful you can damage that catalytic converter very quickly over time. They don't tolerate extremely high temperatures and oftentimes extremely high pressure rippling that can happen if we have those explosions and that flaming effect happening. So be mindful of that. If you don't have a catalytic converter, you're going to be a race vehicle, we're on a racetrack, that's fine. You really have nothing to worry about. Obviously, if you're kicking huge flames out the back of the car, you have to watch how close you are to other cars. You could technically start to melt someone's bumper, which definitely wouldn't be ideal. But we can create this flaming effect, and we can actually even create and adjust the color of the flame depending on how we set our cut up and how we have our ignition retard and how much fuel we're adding as we're in this type of situation, creating our flame map. So sometimes you can create more of a yellowish flame versus a bluish flame. Some of that has to do with the exhaust system, how long it's going to be, and the fuel that you're burning. So just be mindful that there's a lot of variables to this, but you can change that flaming color and the intensity of the flame depending on how you set everything up here. So let's talk about setting this up, talk about the strategy here. So the first thing I'm going to do in this particular configuration window here is set up my arming switch. I want to set this up so I can turn this feature on or off. I don't want the flame map running as I'm driving around normal driving conditions. I want it to use it for a showpiece. Maybe I'm on track and I want to have that flaming effect. It look really cool for pictures. Whatever the case may be, I don't want it necessarily always in play, always turned on and creating huge flames as I'm driving around. So I'm going to set this to a anti-lag system arming. This is going to allow me to set up a switched function to turn the feature on or off. So I'm going to go here to my digital input 3 and I've wired an on-off toggle switch for this feature to work. You can also, if you have a CAN keypad, assign it to one of your CAN inputs here. We have our CAN digital inputs. That's something else you can reassign to a CAN keypad, either or. I'm going to have a basic switch here to set this up, so click OK. Now we have Digital 3. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.